Hello, everyone, and welcome to Now We Are Talking English. Take a slow, deep breath. Let your shoulders drop, relax, and give yourself this beautiful time to learn without any stress. Today, we are looking at three words that are the foundation of the English language: have, has, and had. These three words are very powerful. We use them to talk about our current assets, the things we own right now in our hands. We use them to talk about our life timelines, and sometimes we even use them to look back and navigate our past regrets, the things we wish we did differently. If you mix these words up, people will usually still understand you, but today we will make the rules completely simple and natural. Emily, how are you today? Do you find that these three words can be confusing for students when they talk about their lives?
Hi, James. I am doing great, thank you. And yes, absolutely. These words look very small, but they carry a lot of weight in conversation. I hear students mix them up all the time, especially when they switch between talking about their present life and their past memories. For example, a student might say, "Yesterday I have a big problem," or "My friend have a beautiful car right now." These are very normal mistakes, and it is completely fine to make them. But before we explain our simple tricks to master these words and organize your life timeline, I want to invite all our friends listening right now to take just one short second to subscribe to our channel and click the like button. If you enjoy learning English in this slow, peaceful, and quiet way, your subscription helps our community grow. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, everyone. Your support helps us keep creating this peaceful space for you. Now, let's dive right into our topic. To make this very simple to understand, let's separate our life timeline into two main zones: the present zone, which is happening right now, and the past zone, which is already finished. Let's look at the present zone first. In the present zone, we only use two words: have and has. We use these words to talk about our current assets. An asset is anything you possess. It can be a physical object like a smartphone or a house, or it can be a feeling, an idea, or a relationship.
Yes, current assets are the things that belong to your life today. But why do we have two different words for the present zone? This is where many students get tripped up. The choice between have and has depends entirely on the subject, the person or thing we are talking about. Think of have as the team player for the pronouns I, you, we, and they. For example, I can say, "I have a cup of warm tea in my hand right now." Or, "We have a wonderful community of English learners."
Exactly. And the word has is the special partner for what we call the third person singular: he, she, and it. It is for one person or one thing outside of you and me. For example, you can say, "She has a lot of confidence when she speaks," or "My car has a flat tire today," or "He has a great job at the bank." A good trick to remember this is that has ends with the letter S, and we often use that S when we talk about a single third person.
That is a very helpful trick, James. Let me repeat it to make sure it sinks in for everyone. For the present zone, if I am talking about myself, or about you, or about a group of people, I use have. I have an idea, you have a question, they have a house. But if I point to one single person or object, I use has. He has a dog, she has a sister, the computer has a problem. This covers all our current assets and our current state of being. But what happens when we want to step out of the present zone and look back at our life timelines? What word do we use then?
That is when we enter the past zone, Emily. And the wonderful news for every English learner is that the past zone is much easier. In the past zone, we only have one single word for everyone: had. It does not matter if the subject is I, you, he, she, we, or they. Everyone uses had. We use had to talk about things we owned in the past or experiences that are completely finished on our life timeline. For example, I can say, when I was a child, I had a bicycle, or last year, they had a beautiful apartment near the sea.
Wow, that really simplifies things. So, in the past, the rules do not change based on the person. I can say, I had a cat, he had a cat, we had a cat. It is always had. But, James, we also use had when we navigate our past regrets, right? Sometimes we look back at our life timeline and think about things we did not do or things we wish were different. Can you explain how had works when we talk about regrets?
Yes, Emily. This is a very deep and human part of language. We all have moments where we look back at our choices. In English, when we want to express a deep past regret, we often use the word had together with words like should or wish. For example, imagine you missed an important job interview in the past because you did not wake up early. You can look back at your timeline and say, I wish I had woken up earlier, or if I had prepared more, I would have the job today.
Ah, the past timeline can hold many heavy feelings. Can you break down why we sometimes use had when we talk about our past assets or experiences that are completely gone?
Yes, it is about showing that the chapter is completely closed. For example, imagine you sold your old car 2 years ago. Before you sold it, you owned it. You can say, before I sold my car, I had it for 5 years. You are navigating a specific point on your past timeline.
That makes total sense when you visualize it as a timeline. Let's look at how we use this for regrets too. Imagine a person who did not save money when they were young, and now they feel stressed. They can say, I wish I had had more discipline with my money 10 years ago. They are looking back at their past assets and wishing their past self made a better choice. In this sentence, we used the past perfect tense, which we will discuss in our upcoming episodes.
Exactly. Navigating past regrets can be difficult, but using the word had correctly helps you tell your life story clearly. Let's summarize the three words on our timeline so our audience can see them all together. Imagine your life is a long road. Right now, you are standing at a specific point on that road. The things you are holding in your hands right now are your current assets. For these, you say, I have these things. If you are talking about your friend standing next to you, you say, he has those things.
And if you turn around and look at the road behind you, the road you already walked, those are your past experiences and past assets. You are no longer holding them. They are finished. For everything on that road behind you, you use the word had. I had a problem yesterday. She had an opportunity last summer. We had a long conversation last month. It does not matter who did it. The word is always had because it belongs to the past road.
Beautifully said, Emily. That is a perfect way to visualize it. Now, let's talk about a small trap that many students fall into. It happens when we make negative sentences in the present zone. If you want to say that you do not own a specific asset right now, many students say, I haven't a car, or she hasn't a phone. While people might understand you, this sounds a bit old-fashioned or unnatural in daily conversation. What is the modern way to say this, Emily?
In modern daily English, we use a helper word to make negative sentences. In the present zone, that helper word is don't or doesn't. And here is the golden secret. When you use the helper word, the main verb always goes back to the basic form, which is have. So instead of saying, I haven't a car, you should say, I don't have a car. And for the third person singular, instead of saying, she hasn't a phone, you should say, she doesn't have a phone.
Wait, let's pause there because that is a major trap. Did you notice that Emily said she doesn't have a phone? She did not say doesn't has. Why is that, Emily?
Because the helper word doesn't already has that special S sound at the end. It takes the responsibility for the third person singular. Since doesn't is doing the heavy work, the word has relaxes and turns back into its original form, which is have. So remember, he has a car, but he doesn't have a car. She has time, but she doesn't have time. This is a rule that trips up almost everyone, so don't worry if you need some time to practice it.
That is such an important distinction. The helper word takes the weight. Now, what about the past zone? How do we make a negative sentence about our past assets or timeline using had? If I want to say that I did not own a bicycle when I was 7, what is the correct modern structure?
In the past zone, we use a past helper word, which is didn't. And just like in the present zone, once the helper word appears, it takes all the past tense energy into itself. Because didn't is already showing us the past, the verb had changes back to its simple, basic form, which is have. So you say, I didn't have a bicycle when I was a child. You do not say, I didn't had.
Let me repeat that because it is another huge trap for intermediate learners. In a positive past sentence, you say, I had a dog. But in a negative past sentence, you say, I didn't have a dog. The word didn't carries the past meaning, so the main verb resets to have. This applies to everyone on the timeline. He didn't have, she didn't have, we didn't have, they didn't have.
This is a beautiful grammar pattern. Once you see that the helper words, don't, doesn't, and didn't, always force the main verb to become have, the language becomes much more organized in your mind. You don't have to guess which form to use. It gives you a feeling of control over your sentences.
It really does. Now let's use these rules to talk about our lives in a deeper way. When we navigate our life timelines, it is very common to balance our current assets with our past experiences. For example, I can look at my life today and say, I have a lot of great friends right now, but when I first moved to this city, I had nobody. I didn't have a single connection. This sentence connects my past reality to my present joy.
That is a beautiful example of storytelling, James. It shows how our timeline moves from a difficult past to a positive present. Let's think about another scenario. Imagine someone who is learning English. They can say, a few months ago, I had a lot of fear when I tried to speak. I didn't have the confidence to open my mouth. But today, I have more knowledge, and my mind has more peace because I practice slowly every day.
I love that sentence, Emily. It perfectly describes the journey of our beautiful listeners. They are changing their timeline every single day by spending this time with us. Now, let's talk about another common question students ask. What about the words have got and has got? Sometimes they hear native speakers in movies say, I've got a secret, or he's got a new car. What does that mean, and how does it fit into our assets?
This is a great point. In daily casual conversation, people often add the word got after have or has. The meaning is exactly identical to the simple word have or has. It just means to possess something right now. For example, I have a car means the exact same thing as I have got a car. And he has a dog means the exact same thing as he has got a dog.
So it is just a style choice. It is a more casual way to talk about your current assets. But what about the past zone? Can we say, I had got a bicycle to talk about the past?
No, we do not use that structure for past possession. In the past zone, we prefer to keep it clean and simple. Just use had. I had a bicycle. You do not need to add got when you are talking about the road behind you. Keep it simple so your mind can rest.
That is a relief. We want to keep our minds as relaxed as possible. To everyone listening to our voices right now, please remember that grammar is not a prison. It is just a map to help you express your real life, your real thoughts, and your real feelings. If you are talking to someone at a restaurant or an airport and you accidentally mix up have and has, or if you say didn't had by mistake, Please do not feel embarrassed. Human connection is about the message and the warmth in your voice, not about a perfect score from a school teacher. Every time you try to speak, you are winning.
That is so true, James. The courage to share your thoughts is the most beautiful asset you can ever have. And that brings us to our daily question for this episode. We want you to practice navigating your own life timeline with us in the comment section below. We want you to write 2 sentences for us. First, tell us about one current asset or feeling you have in your life today that makes you happy. Second, look back at your past timeline and tell us about something you had or experienced in the past that taught you an important lesson.
Please write your answers in the comments below. We read every single word you write, and we truly love learning about your lives. We do not care if your spelling is perfect or if you make a small mistake. This is a safe space for you to practice and grow. Thank you for spending this slow, relaxing time with us on Now We Are Talking English. Take care of your spirit, be proud of your effort today, and we will see you next time.
Have a peaceful, lovely day, everyone. Keep breathing, keep moving forward on your timeline. And goodbye.